Welcome to the Inquiring Cat Does Recruitment, and my episode this week is particularly geared towards senior candidates, board level directors and senior managers, and there's two separate subjects I want to touch upon. I'm going to talk a little bit later about your relationship with your executive search consultant, but in the meantime I just want to touch on actually how you tackle subjects at interview, particularly if you are senior, but there might be some lessons in this for younger or more junior candidates as well. One of the problems I've come across when interviewing senior people is that when I present them with the job description and we look at a particular task that the client is trying to solve, the obvious question to ask the candidate is, have you ever done anything like this and what happened? And it's incredible how often people come back and just say, oh yes, I've done something like that. And you say, well, tell me some more. Well, I did something like that at company XYZ or organization ABC. Yes, and truly it is like sort of dragging blood out of a stone. If you are going to be asked a question like that, you need to dynamically reply, yes, I've dealt with a problem like that. This is what it was. This is where it was, providing you're not breaching any confidentiality. This is how we tackled it. This is what I did with it. This is the role I played. And this was the outcome. And this is why I was a success or not. And this is what I learned from the process. Your recruitment consultant, executive search consultant, or ultimately the client wants to hear the granular detail of how you resolved a particular problem. They don't want an airy-fairy, which comes across, I have to say, as a little bit self-entitled or potentially arrogant by just saying, oh yes, I've done that before. What is fair, of course, is that within your CV, you can claim as a personal victory any projects that you had a significant hand in. You don't have to have been necessarily the project leader. But if you were a key element of a team that was successful on a project, then you can claim that in your CV. And it's really important that your CV contains facts and figures. Saying, oh, I was the most successful salesman last year, well, that means nothing. By how much margin? How many salesmen were there? If there are only two of you, that doesn't mean much, does it? Did you hit target? Were you over target? By what percentage? What were the pounds, shillings, pence? These things really matter in terms of putting substance into your CV. So the other subject I wanted to talk about was relationship with headhunters. And now, as I'm not really an active headhunter as such, I feel a bit more liberated to say this. You may not have been thinking of yourself as a salesman in your role, but you know what? Accountants have to sell themselves, lawyers have to sell themselves, cardboard box salesmen have to sell themselves, and executive search consultants are no different. Therefore, when we as a community are trying to find new clients, we obviously want to talk to the most senior decision makers, and that is the chief executives, the chairmans, the non-executive directors, and the managing board of the organization at whatever function may be appropriate. In my 30 odd years of headhunting, I'm not quite sure whether I find it amusing or not, but it is incredible how many people who completely blocked me from having just the opportunity of a polite conversation to see whether or not there's anything we might be able to do for them now or in the future, and just to present our credentials so that we could be borne in mind when an opportunity might arise in the future. And the door, of course, gets slammed in your face without any explanation. Well, that's sales. You have to be able to cope with rejection. It was hardly the end of the world. But I can tell you, it is amazing how many people have phoned me up once they've been fired or made redundant with a begging bowl saying, oh, hello, David, like I'm their oldest friend that they've never actually spoken to. I wonder if you could help me. I'm really keen to get a new job because I've got a mortgage to pay and car loan to pay off and 3 children in private school or something. And they expect to be treated like gold dust. Well, the people who are treated like gold dust are the people that have behaved in a more courteous manner during the life cycle of the so-called relationship. And of course, people that one has worked with before. So if you are one of those people who has slammed the door on your headhunters or headhunters trying to contact you that you flatly refuse to talk to, that's your prerogative. Of course it is. But please don't insult us by phoning up the minute you're desperate for a job, expecting to be front of the queue, because unless you've got the most extraordinary talents, you won't be. Rant over. Anyway, that's my hot tips for today, and look forward to talking to you soon. If you like this stuff, like, subscribe, and we will see you again shortly. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now.